Thank you, Caroline. We're going to bring up Joan from Cape Cod Community College, and her question that she's going to be sharing with us is, what did her program do to build trust with the adult learners in her program?
I'm not very tall, but I pretend I'm tall. This will work out great, right? Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Johan. I'm glad you're here. And I hope to share a little bit of information about Cape Cod, about our students, about our diversity, and about building trust. A little bit about me, and it will be a little bit about me. This is my second year full-time as a director. I taught in the program, in the ESOL program, for 4 years because, thank you, because it was my retirement job. Now, I want you to hear that very carefully. It was my retirement job. From the Literacy Council, I know John's thinking, how old is she? Okay. I went from the Literacy Council to volunteering in the ESOL program, to teaching in the ESOL program. We have 2 arms in our program, to directing the program. So my life of luxury on Cape Cod has gone away. Okay? My background is in adult ed. It's in adult learning. I came from higher ed. Before that, I came from corporate communications. So I love what I do. I love our students. I love our teachers. I love everything about this program, and it's not easy. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we try to build some trust, and hopefully you can walk away with some information that will help you as well. Thank you. First thing that you'll notice when you come into our building now, and I'll comment a little bit later, we do have what I'm really referring to as a schoolhouse now. When you come into our building, the first thing you will see is our mission and our vision, our quality, and our DEI statements, as well as our land acknowledgement statement. We are on Cape Cod. We inhabit property and lands that were well possessed long before we got there. Every single statement that comes from the community college has a land acknowledgement statement attached to it. Many of our teachers will also include the land acknowledgement statement on their signature for their email. It's really important for us to acknowledge that we are all immigrants, that we all came from somewhere else, and that we all have a story to tell, and our stories aren't always good, and our behavior has not always been good as well. But we didn't have anything like this. We all sort of knew what we thought the program did, and we all sort of knew what we thought the students learned, but we didn't really understand our relationship as fluidly as I think we do now. We didn't really articulate why it was really important that you walk through those doors and learn something. Remember, my background in corporate life is that we always had a mission, we always had a vision, and it's very flexible, and it should change. We've translated this, as you can see, into our principal languages for our students. These are in the hallways now. And so our principal languages are Portuguese, Spanish, and Haitian Creole right now that reflect our student population. As I look at some of the other languages that are starting to emerge, I know we will continue to develop more of these large posters. But this is really intended to be, in terms of building trust, in your face. I want you to see it, and you do, the minute you walk through the door. And then when you hit the hallways, then you see the 3 different languages as well, and I will explain why we've done that. So this is our mission and our vision. And our quality, since we just had a quality review. And we're very interested in quality. Thank you. We focus pretty intensely on ADEI. I really do need to move closer so I can see what I wanted to tell you here. You know, this is just my personal opinion, but in terms of looking at ADEI, and I'm not going to read the slides as much because I know you can, I think we are diverse. In fact, I know we're diverse. I'm not sure we were inclusive. I think that we were very aware of the diversity of our student population. I don't think that we built in as much of the inclusivity as we should have, and that we are now doing, and realizing that you can't just put a whole bunch of people together in a classroom and assume everyone's going to learn the same way, feel the same way, and adjust in the same manner. So we're very focused on really enforcing diversity. I will tell you that the college itself has been working on its diversity statement for years. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm on the diversity team for the college. We got ours together in months. We worked hard. The staff meetings, we reviewed what other programs were really saying about diversity. We knew what we felt about diversity. We asked our students how they felt about diversity, and that's how we developed our statement. And the one thing I will tell you is that if you take a long time to do it, things change. Just do it. Just do it, put it down, put it in writing, and live by it. And if you have to change it in 6 months or a year, well, good for you. Then you are a dynamic program. You are changing. And so the college took attention and really was very, very impressed by this, and that's good. It brings more attention to our program, which is really, public relations. This is what I'm all about. Pay attention to us and figure out why we're doing a good job for you. So this is our focus. So as you can see, and I will speak loudly because I can project as well, these are the key issues that you want with any kind of a diversity statement. You perhaps have one, you perhaps are working on one. You want to be able to acknowledge that you don't know everything. If you want to build trust with your students, don't tell them you know how to do it and they should learn. Let them know everybody struggles with this, everyone, and you are not alone. So it's stereotypes, it's prejudice, it certainly is racism, it's power imbalance. Because immediately when you have students who are coming to your class, you are in power as the teacher. If you're the director, you're in power for the teachers. Where do your students fall in? Your students should be up here. Your students are the first ones. You wouldn't be there without your students. So you have to have them understand what power is all about. I think we've heard student welfare. When you're developing your diversity statements and your belief about diversity, you have to let students know you care about them. Certainly, John, who was a teacher in our HiSET program, can tell you we haven't, and phenomenal, and I would say that even if he wasn't here, I would tell you he's phenomenal. We have a lot of student issues, and you have to demonstrate that you care about them. And I think Reed was saying, and absolutely true, well, hey, this is my personal business. You have to let them know if your personal business is affecting your education, we have to step in. And that's, I think, what you did, and certainly that's what we've had a couple of really big things in the past year. You have to respect student perspectives, and they're not going to be what you like, and they're not going to make sense, but you have to respect them. You have to respect them. And finally, and this is really important, and I didn't put this on the slide, and I'm kicking myself, recognize students come to you with their own academic and social achievements. We've done a little bit of this, which you will see, but we all need to do a little bit more because you are honoring diversity. If you honor diversity, your students will trust you, and your staff will trust you as well. Who are our students? These are some of our students. These are some of our students who, by the way, all said, oh, okay, they're so shy. And I said, oh, come and take pictures. So these are some of our class pictures. These are some of our students sort of pointing to their native language, not wanting to smile, not wanting to, be posed, but that's just a very quick picture of some of our students, and I'll tell you in a little bit about how many students we have as well. Okay? I am talking fast. Okay, so I'm going to split it out. We have ESOL classes and we have HiSET classes. Can everybody hear me so I don't have to do this? No. Thank you. No? No? Oh, I hate to. Well, then I feel like a game show host, so I kind of hate to do that too. How's that? Is that better? Really? And for our next prize, all right, this is our ESOL population. Our ESOL population is changing dramatically. This is really the most recent slide that we have. If I spoke to you in September, it would look very, very different. 71% of our students are from Brazil. This has really been contextually what our program has looked like, and that has been our focus for a number of years in terms of translation, in terms of cultural stories, in terms of really what do our teachers and students understand or want to know. But you will see then we have Ecuador. Haiti, which is 9%, is starting to increase dramatically because of our new arrivals on Cape Cod. Now, you may have a vision of Cape Cod in your head, of flip-flops and sunglasses and sundresses and lots of fun. Okay, Cape Cod is a very different environment now. Very different environment. We have a number of new arrivals who are coming to our program who don't know us, they don't know the locale, they're not familiar with the region, they're out there in the middle of, the water, really. We owe them a great deal. If you want your students to trust you, you have to let them know that they're welcome. To know that you're welcome means you've got to do something about the language, that you have to do something about the way people look and feel and deal with you. So this is changing, which is not to say that in any way are we negating our prior populations. These are our ESOL students. These are our ABE, otherwise known as our HiSET students. You will see it's a very, very different, I'm sorry about the color, a little bit didn't work. 51% of our students are from Jamaica in our HiSET population. A very successful group of students. Our goal is to move our ESOL students into the HiSET program. Many of them come with a degree, many do not come with a degree in ESOL. And our HiSET teachers are phenomenal, and they're moving students through and getting the diploma completion. 44 students this year. That's up from 29 last year. And yes, I am bragging because it's worth it. 44 students. Don't thank me, thank this fellow right here. John teaches in the level 2. Level 2, as I always say, is the workhorse for any program. It's the midway through. If you're gonna make it, you gotta get there. Okay? So that's our ABE. So here's our staff. Here's all of my instructors, really, in the ESOL program are part-time. All. I have 9. Hopefully I'll have 10 next year. I have 2 part-time advisors. We level differently. We just, our beginners is a level 1 to a level 5. In our ABE program, I have 2 instructors who are full-time. That means they teach morning and night. Our ABE program is a remote class. Our ESOL classes are face-to-face. And they have an advisor, morning and night, but he's working what we consider part-time. 53% of our staff is bilingual or multilingual. 71% hold at least a master's degree, and 6% holders hold a master's and a doctoral degree. Okay, next. So, look at that. That's our average age, because we're on Cape Cod. We're on Cape Cod. Oh, what a nice place to retire. Well, maybe I'll work a little bit, that'll be fun. Okay? So our average age, and some of my teachers said, don't tell them this. And I said, why? I'm feeling kind of young about all this. 59 and a half. That's our average age of our teachers. So many of our teachers have come from a college teaching background. So they understand diversity. They don't always understand our student population, however, because many of them do not understand the non-traditional adult learner. But we're getting there, but we are getting there. The other point that I would mention is that while we are diverse, when I talked about inclusive, you can see that our languages really, principally, are not what we would like them to be. We'd like to grow our language skills, and we will work on that. And certainly, our race, ethnicity. We are principally white. We are principally a white population of teachers. And our principal country of birth is the United States. It's not a flaw, but when I talk about what our students look like, their learning skills, where they're coming from, we don't look like our students. Not a bad thing, but we don't look like our students. And that's something that we're very aware of. Yes, next, please, thank you. So one thing that we instituted this year is to try to take our building, we're a satellite campus, so we are not on the main campus. At first, years ago, I thought, oh, this is terrible. Now I think this is wonderful. We're in our own building, okay? And we made it into a schoolhouse feel, so that when you come in, there are pictures. There's lots of information about our classes. The hallways are filled. I've been told that the fire department is not going to be happy with that. I'll deal, because they're coming for their annual inspection on Friday. I won't be there. So I'll just get the thing afterward. So a couple things that we did. We've had a world map on the wall for years. nice world map that everybody walks by. Now when you go by the world map, it has the flags in it of where our students are from. And then we change those flags every month as we get new students in and new students leave. So now all of a sudden they've got a point of comparison. We do have a what's your next big step, as I mentioned, which is to show from ESOL where can you go, and then talk about what HiSET can offer, and then what HiSET, where those students go as well. We now do a student of the month, we do profiles, and I've heard that from my colleagues as well. What's kind of a new thing that you've done, as well as recent achievements. So notable achievements here, I got a safe serve, I got a license, I passed my citizenship test. It can be anything. I got hired, I got a job, we'll take it all. Pictures, quotes, everything. We're pretty inclusive. I will be brief because everyone has had, unfortunately, sort of a circumstance like this, and I will tell you that this is specifically for my ESOL teachers, where we had a problem, and we didn't know we had a problem. It was growing and growing and growing. And it wasn't, or was it, a miscommunication? Was it misconduct? Or was it a cultural misunderstanding? In brief, you know, our classrooms are all different cultures, all different students, all different ages, just like yours, all different backgrounds, all different experiences. We had a student who came to our advisor and complained about being harassed, sexually harassed by another student. So that's not something we'd say, it's okay, obviously. So they came right to me, and we sat down, and she had another student with her, and the crux of it was that a male student was making her uncomfortable. A male student from another class was making her uncomfortable because the student was staring at her, and it made her uncomfortable. We have packed hallways, so you can't ignore that, nor would you ever ignore that. So, took it seriously, took notes, went to the male student. I will tell you that the female student was fourth year in the program. The male student, first year in the program. Two different cultures, two different ethnicities, male, female. Told the teacher, we're going to have to speak with your male student about this, and she said, no, what, no? And they said, well, you know, he's a little strange, but no. I said, well, and she's a wonderful teacher, but we said, you can't react like that, so we're going to speak with him. I was not looking forward to this conversation at all. But we sat him down, and if you go to the advising office, you figure you're in trouble. If you come to my office, you figure you're really in trouble. So we went to the conference room because I didn't want to have that overlay. We spoke to the student, and we told him what was happening and how this female student was feeling. And he was mortified. And his language skills are not good. And he was so embarrassed, and he was so afraid. He was shaking, which made me feel worse, and explained that, yeah, and he does stare. I will tell you, he does stare. And he said, in my country, if you don't look someone in the eye, you're guilty. You've done something wrong. And so I always look people right in the eye. Always. And he was shaking his head, and he was trembling. And really, I'm thinking, I don't want to cry, don't cry. You know, you have that sort of little conversation in your head, don't cry, you know, be firm. And instead, I just reached out, I know, and I took his hand and I said, thank you. And I thought, this is not misconduct. This is a miscommunication. It's a miscommunication. And he said, I am so sorry. I am sorry. Oh my gosh. We were very lucky because we went back, spoke with a female student, and she said, I understand. Different culture, I understand. And then she said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made a problem. And we said, you didn't make a problem at all. He didn't want to speak with her. He wasn't really sure who the her was. She didn't want to speak with him because she was embarrassed. But it did allow me to have a staff workshop to say, you need to pay attention to these kinds of things. We all need to pay attention to these kinds of things, because I preface this by saying he does stare. He does. He holds your gaze until you feel a little uncomfortable. So we were able to really tell these teachers who have this real mixture in the classrooms, you need to do some workshops. And we did a workshop ourselves of all the different cultural behaviors, and then I want you to introduce this into your classroom. And you need to ask how your students are feeling now. Do they feel uncomfortable? And I wanted people to create a deliberately uncomfortable scenario, because we have to appreciate that what we think is happening may not be happening at all, and that's building trust. So it worked out for us exceedingly well. Thank you. So in this case, we took that teachable moment, awkward for the students, but they figured it out. And now they pass each other in the hallways all the time, because of course I'm there like a sentry, sort of watching everyone. Everybody's fine, everybody's fine. He's fine. He's a lovely, lovely man. He's learning, and he's fine. And she just misjudged. So we were able to say, we trust you. Your voice is important to us. And so we've done all these kinds of things to really understand, what did you think was happening? And also to say, this was smart. If you think something is wrong, you need to come to someone and tell us, because we'll fix it, or we'll try to fix it, and we'll get to the root of the problem. So not only was that where I was building or trying to build trust with the staff, but also then trying to build trust with our students. This is in our student handbook. We do have a student handbook. We do go over the student handbook. Our students sign an acknowledgement that they have read the student handbook. So we tried to cover all the bases, but you know what? You're not going to get them all. You're just not, because something new is going to happen, and some teacher is going to say something offhand, and some student is going to make some comment, and it's all going to start all over again. But what I would say in terms of adult and adult learners, to remember that these are all adults, but it's, stranger in a strange land. And so teaching the different cultural biases, we think that we just need to learn them and be aware of them. Our students need to learn them too. And the smartest thing we did really was to say, I want to listen to you. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to listen to you. Thank you very much. And then come up with a plan. Rather than harassment, you're out of here. Because that would have been maybe the old way of doing it, and you can't do that. Neither one of those students was not telling the truth. They were each speaking their truth. And that's a point that we hadn't really considered. And so this is always a learning game. So I hope I haven't overrun my time, and thank you very much.